come to you is we believe that the relationship between your age, I mean, we're talking, say that you're all American, your age, not yours specifically, but your age as a Jewish in the diaspora and the equivalent age in Israel. We heard a lot that your parents, or parents of equivalent of your age, very much concerned about the connection of Jewish in the diaspora, the young one, and Israelis. You're concerned that there's not so much that connection as used to be between the parent generation. And we were thinking about that. Why can't we build a platform? Actually, I can tell a personal story. My sister, it's okay that I'm telling you a story like that?
Yeah,
Of course.
Sister lived in London for 30-something years, and she sent her daughter to Ulpan in one of the kibbutz in Israel, more than half a year or so, and through the Sochnut, I guess. Now, her daughter was potentially a dual Aliyah. She knew Hebrew, she liked the country, she had family here, and so forth. Well, she was in the kibbutz, she mainly slaved. She worked in the factory there, she did plastic cover to toilets, never met one Israelis, had one trip to Masada in Jerusalem. If you were not here for her, the family, she probably met nobody. And it was, I suddenly said, well, something wrong here. Because there was no platform for people, for Jewish who come to Israel for half a year, not like the plate for 1 week or 2 weeks, but for 1 year, platform to meet Israelis. Like to meet Israelis that will be your friend. And create a friendship of the next generation. How do you build a platform that you come to Israel for 5 years and maybe you leave the country, you come back to the States with friends here. This friend will be a friend for the future. This will be the connection that you will make, you help them, you help, I mean, the research naturally can be there, because naturally is social leaders. And we now try to think about building something. It's a pilot right now. When people come to Israel to volunteer for the state for half a year or something like that, they will come to Shnat Come to Shnat they volunteer instead of building plastic covers to toilet and teach English. We don't have much English teacher in Israel. They can teach English. She can do like my niece can do excellent job in teaching English. She was perfect in languages. Instead, she does simple and stupid things like that. So to direct them what you can do and build a platform that they can meet with Israelis and start to discuss issues. What you're concerned about your life in the diaspora, what Israeli concerns, how do you like to see the relationship between the two of you? Things like that are very important. We hope that that will be a platform to make friendship for the next generation. Okay. The second project we have in social leadership is grants. We give grants to social entrepreneurs. Program called Social Entrepreneurs, it's a program worldwide. And it's a program that we give grant of $25K per year for 2 years with a mentor for IBM that mentor this person. Eventually should build an NGO or something like that do something for the social world. Can be work for adult immigrants who come to Israel, find a job for them. Work in the religious sector, work in the art sector, urban design, things like that. It's a big thing. It's part of a big things worldwide, which called social entrepreneurship. The third cluster, which we actually started heavily after the war, we started before. It's something called Startup Jerusalem, but it was a minority investment of us. The war, if you know, the war in Israel and last one, Lebanon war, actually exposed situation that the majority of the economy in the north of Israel built on small businesses. We don't have a large industry there. They very much depend on defense situation, seasonality, and so forth. It was very much through the war. The situation was very much crystallized to see that what the problem they have. And by the way, helping small businesses, it also warrant seeing some philanthropy. The last person who won from Bangladesh, who won the Peace Award, the Nobel Peace, is in microfinancing, supports small family businesses of wives that like to business, women like to start business at home. You give them a loan of a couple of $100 to start a new business. In Israel, it's not situations because they're not like India, hopefully. But there is a lot of need of small businesses to improve their situation. So in the beginning we saw that we'll do also micro-lending, microfinancing, but we spent a lot of time on understanding the situation in the north, and we built a different model, which comprises for different elements. We basically 2 avenues. One is with the business himself. We provide to the business several elements. One is a coaching. The coaching is supposed to help the business go to above the red line, meaning you run operationally right, cash flow right, inventory right, you can understand the difference between P&L and cash flow and all these things, and business operationally right. If he agreed to do that, we will provide him helping with a loan. There's a lot of loans for small businesses, he can get the loan. And then if there is potential for, an untapped potential of the business, to do more than he's doing now, thinking out of the box, we will provide him free of charge of mentor of the members of IBM that help him develop the marketing and business development element of his business. Simple things, let's say I'm a carpenter in Kiryat Shmona and I'm developing furniture to Kiryat Shmona. Well, keep building kitchens, okay? Why don't you sell your kitchen to Tel Aviv? What does it mean to sell to Tel Aviv? So we came up with the Yellow Pages in Israel, and we hope to build something that eventually will bring the business to the level that they're running operationally right, and then the step function to move to the next stage of being less dependent on the local market of the north and being more dependent on the global market.